speaking of dumping, I was going to say Miss Marvel, but no, I don't.
No, that's not a great. That's not a great in.
No. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Edo Comic Cast for June 2022.
Absolutely.
We made it.
We made it.
Definitely June.
Yeah, 100%. It's June time. June time.
June time.
You know, we've said that for every month.
Yeah.
It's February time.
It's gonna be May time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna be May
This is definitely not our second one of these of the night.
No,
so
we're definitely not wearing the same clothes.
We've all had showers and
had
cleaned
showers.
That's right, yeah.
Just
At least once between the last
weirdly
podcast
ended
and this
up
one.
in the same clothes.
Yeah. Still not the shirt you wanted to wear. Or
Still
your
not the
jacket.
shirt I
Yeah.
wanted to wear.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you know, all that stuff, all that business. But yeah, we all reconvened. We're here. We're ready to talk about the magnificent Miss Marvel from 2019, issues 1 to 5. I'm so glad I don't have to make Thor puns every time I say a number.
Nah.
So
Finally.
good. Yes. It is June, as we said.
It's June time.
Big June.
Big June time.
Yeah.
And so Miss Marvel is imminent.
It's so close.
I don't remember the actual date, but it's imminent. I know
Yes.
it's early-ish in June.
It's like the 3rd.
Yeah. It's like Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan's this week, which is crazy.
Yeah. And then it's next
and then
week.
this
Miss
week at
Marvel.
time of recording.
Yeah.
Not
Oh
when you guys are
no!
listening
Oh
to
no!
this.
The illusion
Probably
is
over,
No,
right?
but everyone's going for another 5 weeks. So we are recording this in June.
The
So
illusion-
it is out this week.
So it is this week.
Yeah.
The not-
It's just out this week.
There's an episode out this
the
week.
not illusion's not ruined.
We're
That's it.
fine. The
Fixed it.
multiverse is fixed.
We fixed it.
And then, 2 to 3 weeks ago, Miss Marvel started
Yeah,
on television.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yes.
maybe,
Maybe.
possibly. Anyway, but Miss Marvel is a comic book started in the year 2014, which was a year I was still in high school. And not
I was too, yeah.
not really reading comics at the time.
No.
So I didn't really find out about this character until a couple of years later. I think around probably like 2016, 2017, we probably started hearing rumors about it coming into the MCU, and that's when I started to know a little bit about the character. But she's very new. Kamala Khan as a character is very new to the whole Marvel
For sure.
universe and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You guys did, we mentioned it in the last Comic Cast, a pre-Comic Cast comic book podcast
Yes.
about Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
The original run.
Yes.
The first 6 issues, I think.
You can still find that on Spotify,
Yep.
And YouTube.
all those places.
Yeah.
Yeah. YouTube. Yep. Track it down. Have a listen.
And so this guy talks about those 6 issues, which are kind of the introduction to the character, which
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure most of the TV show will be.
Yes.
But
With some changes.
yes, yes,
A couple little changes.
Yeah.
yeah. Hopefully not too many.
Yeah.
Other
Also-
than one major one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Will's looking at his watch. Will's
Yeah.
talking about a watch.
Yeah.
Slap a the wrist.
Slap
Slap
at
the
the
wrist. But yeah, and so I thought, well, I'd like to talk about a Miss Marvel comic. There's not a lot to pick from because, as we said, pretty new character.
Pretty fresh.
So we could either have continued on, picked up later in that run,
Yep.
or we could do there's 2 new runs. So there's 2019, there was Magnificent Miss Marvel, where they had a mostly new creative team. We'll chat about in a little bit, which is the one we ended up picking. And then there's also a new one started coming out either this year or late last year.
Yeah.
Called
yeah.
Miss Marvel Beyond the Limit, which I own, but I've not read.
Okay.
So I don't know anything about. Could be garbage. Could be good.
Could be a dump, as some would say.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't know who would say that.
No.
You definitely wouldn't start a podcast like that. No.
But the reason I ended up picking this one was because I've read this one before. I enjoyed it quite a lot. I think I read probably like the first 12 to 15.
You're making your own your own puns for this one. Anytime you say the word 5 or 6 or 5th or 6th, you have to say fish. Now.
Oh, no.
It's all right. We didn't read up to... Oh, no, we did read up to 5.
Yeah.
We did,
But yeah, no, I read about that many of like the first original run, and then I jumped onto this one because it was the one that was kind of coming out of Marvel Unlimited at the time. So I just jumped onto it and was like, yeah, I'll read that, give it a go. And I loved it. Particularly, it's one of the later issues in that, but there's a suit that she gets in this that
Yeah.
I think is easily the best suit
So cool.
she has. I
Very
mean, she doesn't
good.
have many,
Yeah.
but it's easily the best one she has. And I'm so like sad that it's probably not going to get adapted much and isn't even in like the Avengers game,
Yeah.
which is wild to me.
They've got racist Hulk in that game.
Yeah.
They don't even
Yeah.
have this.
Yeah. We'll talk about that a bit later.
No
but
racist Hulk. We'll
but
never
yeah.
talk about him.
no.
It's not coming up.
But even this little arc is like I loved it a lot when I first read it. So that's why we're coming back to that now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it kind of picks up after the original Miss Marvel comic run ended.
Yep.
There was, I think, the last issue of that. Like, I'm gonna put it out there. Maybe it was like issue 36. I think possibly. It was like a bit of a crossover with the new creative team and the old one, kind of transitioning it into this, and then it started coming out in 2019.
Yeah, cool.
And sadly got cancelled after 18 issues, which I was quite sad about because I loved it a lot. I will say the run itself did drop off a bit after this first arc.
Sure.
But when I found out it was cancelled so quickly, I was a bit sad because it has great art in my opinion. I really like the writer, and it seemed weird to me, especially when they were leading up to a Miss Marvel show coming out.
Yeah.
It was an interesting choice. I'm pretty sure it was like one of those ones that was hit by COVID.
Yeah,
Sure.
right.
Pretty hard.
Do you know if they got to like round it out?
Yeah, they did. I've
Yeah?
read
Yeah,
read
cool.
to the end of the run, and it's rounded out all right. There's some part of the problem with it is, again, I think they had to like delay a couple issues because the COVID happened with like all comics at the time. And then they also had to cross it over with a Champions thing where Kamala got like
course.
full on like injured and was put out of action.
That's right.
And it was very kind of odd
yeah.
because
yeah,
it
yeah.
kind of messed with the continuity of this comic, which was doing its
It was
own
still
thing.
running at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time. Yeah,
Right.
But outside of that,
At the same time, that Champions thing was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, no,
like
the
it's a cool idea, but yeah, it would have ruined this a little bit.
yeah, it definitely felt like this was the one that got hit by it, and then coincidentally got cancelled. I don't know if that Champions run is still ongoing, but that's a question for another time. But yeah, so that's kind of where it picks up, and then as the story kind of wrapped up. Don't know where the new one picks up. Don't know if they're thinking about a longer new arc for her. I hope so.
Yeah.
Linked to the show. But yeah, so not a lot of history to go through. Let's just jump into the creative team.
Please.
We're back to an OG Comic Curiosities because no one gave us any comments.
No, what the fuck,
This
guys?
podcast.
Hell.
My God.
Jeez.
We gave you so long. So much time, you gave us nothing.
No context from Joshy this time, so I had to go back and find it all back in the old days.
Thanks,
In the old
Josh.
Back in
days.
the old 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
Ancient.
so long ago. The writer Saladin Ahmed, fantastic. I follow him on Twitter.
Okay.
He's a nice guy. And he has won an Eisner Award in 2018.
Great.
Love
Love
it,
the Eisners.
We love an Eisner Award winner.
Yeah.
In 2018 for Best New Series for his Black Bolt solo run.
Yeah, right.
Wow.
Blackagar Boltagon himself.
He's
Yeah.
the higher guy or whatever.
Alongside artist Christian Ward, which is
Yeah.
crazy because there's also the series ran from 2016 and was cancelled in 2018 when he won the award after 12 issues.
Amazing.
What?
So I want to go and read this now because
must be
it's
good,
It
but
must be good, but like,
Bad.
well, at 2018 it's around the time when like
they
Inhumans was
yeah.
starting to like.
They remembered they had the X-Men.
They
Yeah.
were like, we're going to get controllers again.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
Inhumans.
right.
Yeah.
TV show was bad. Movies didn't
forget
happen.
them.
Get rid of them.
Dang.
Which is a shame because, it seems like a lot of people really like the series.
Yeah,
So
totally.
that's one I'm probably going to go back and check
The
out.
comic series.
Yeah, not
Not the TV
show.
series.
No.
No. And so that got cancelled. He started on 2 new ongoing series for Marvel. Marvel kept him on because they were like, look, you're a good writer. You won an Eisner Award.
Yeah.
Just don't want you to write about that guy.
Yeah. We're not talking about those guys for a little while.
Yeah. So he picked up Miles Morales' Spider-Man after all the universes went ka-chunk and he came into the regular Marvel universe.
Nice.
He
Yep.
started the new run of Miles Morales,
Yeah, cool.
which I haven't read any of, but a lot of people seem to really like.
Yeah,
So,
I think I have them all.
that's a lot of comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a lot of
Yeah, no,
comics.
no, no,
I do, yeah.
I know, I'm aware.
I think I'm up to like I don't know, Miles issue 40 or something.
Yeah.
Which
It's
would
quite
have started in
quite a long way along.
2018 at least.
I think it's probably. I'll get to that in a second, actually, because he around here he also picked up Exiles, which is like a kind of X-Men related comic. That one
that's right.
ended a bit earlier
Yeah,
because they had their whole Hickman X-Men reboot going on in 2019. But he got a lot of work.
Yeah, good.
Kicked him off it and then gave him a lot more work.
Yeah,
so
nice.
Go.
And then wrote this comic between 2019 and 2021.
Yeah.
But like I was looking kind of like on his Wikipedia, because that's where I get like base information, and doing a bit of extrapolation out of it, as you should do with Wikipedia. Definitely don't just sometimes I've copy and pasted stuff. Yeah. But on this occasion, I did actually look a bit further out, and it seems quite a widely acclaimed new writer. Like this is, as we can tell here, pretty new to the scene. But the thing he seems to be really good at with Miss Marvel here, Miles Morales, very good at taking these new popular characters who've had an initial run that everyone loved. They love a new character. And then just like kind of continuing them and like making them into an established character, bringing like the personality that's been established,
and keeping that consistent,
keeping it consistent, but like giving them new experiences and new stories to tell, which I think is really cool.
That's cool, yeah.
And clearly, like the Mars one's been successful enough that he's kept working on it for a while.
Totally.
And stuff. So
for sure.
He still does do some work for Marvel, but he's kind of dialed back a bit on it recently. He's now doing more creator-owned stuff, including on Substack, which I don't know if either of you guys have heard about the Substack stuff. It's a bit more like nitty-gritty comics industry stuff, but a lot of comic writers and creators, more so writers, I would say, than artists, have gone to it's like an online distribution platform called Substack, where people, it's kind of like a Patreon thing where you can support with money and you'll get like comics there. So that they made a big like thing out of making a bunch of deals with a bunch of creators last year to make like new creator-owned independent comics on Substack. So he's doing more of that stuff now, but he's still doing work for Marvel, still popping up often in like anthology stuff like Marvel Voices. I think he's done a couple stories in there and stuff. So he's a very good writer, but pretty new to the scene. The artist, specifically the penciler for this, is a Korean guy called Minkyu Young, and he very much an up and comer. It's kind of cool. I couldn't find like a lot of. He doesn't have a Wikipedia page for starters.
Pretty
had to
fresh.
Had to go a bit further. Came across his Instagram and kind of just scrolled through his Instagram. He was basically just doing fan art for a while, just like drawing Marvel characters and DC characters. And then eventually you see on his Instagram and it's like, this comic's releasing and it's done by me. And I was like, that's so cool.
That's awesome.
So basically, before he started working with Marvel, he did a bunch of properties across the DC library. I think Batgirl might have been his first one. And then he worked on Titans and Nightwing for a bit.
Sick.
Good on him.
And then most recently, he's worked with Marvel as penciler on both this and also, you'll like this, Will, Dr. Aphra.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
I have to look at because I definitely would associate a lot of the Aphra art is very personal. It's got so much personality.
Specifically the more recent run.
Cool.
I'm just reading off Ben's script here. It's a Star Wars thing for anyone that doesn't know what Dr. Aphra is.
Sorry.
I didn't
Star
know
Wars,
what it was,
Dr.
so I
Aphra.
would have had no idea.
Dr. Aphra is hired by Darth Vader to do some archaeological stuff for him.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So she may turn up in something fairly soon, or she may never turn up.
I think she's an extended universe character, mainly like comics, but also like some books and stuff that people I know have really taken a liking to. So I expect she will very much show up in something
soon.
Yeah. But
awesome.
I haven't read much of her stuff, but I've heard a lot of good things about those comics.
It's great fun.
But yeah, so not a lot for him, but it's like some big things: Nightwing, Titans, Batgirl, all stuff people love. I love. And Miss Marvel's Dr. Aphra. So
pretty good. It's a pretty good list.
Good list of stuff, even for someone who's pretty new to the industry. But yeah, I thought the thing of just like seeing his Instagram profile and
just see it become official.
And he just like over time there's more and more of like this comic coming out this week.
Totally.
Pencils by me, and I'm like, oh, that's so cool.
That's fun.
Yeah, it's kind of similar to what was it we did on last month's one? Jason Aaron put like the
they're putting the
Wolverine
thing in the box.
story in the box.
Just wrote a story and then ended up
like the modern version of that.
The comic. That's so cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that might have even been similar because I think it might have been a variant cover that he got his first thing on, and then he got put into
actual official runs.
Cool. And then Ian Hellery. That's not the name at all. The colorist for this was Ian Herring. Red herring, spelled the same way.
Might wonder if he likes the color red. Yeah.
Well, maybe a little bit, maybe a bit more.
He's a colorist.
Yeah.
Color.
Well,
That's why I said if he specifically the color red. Yeah,
that makes
there would be some red in his art.
Red.
Miss Marvel has some red.
She's got red.
Silk also has some red.
That's red.
He's done the coloring for all the Silk comics.
Wow.
Whoa, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's been like 18 different new starts. Just Silk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of red.
Yeah, there's some red.
There's some red in there.
Totally. Initially, I saw like it was the most recent runs, and then I went looking a bit further, and I was like,
constant.
no, it's all of them.
Wow.
And
to be fair, very little red at first. It was like a little red S, and then it just got more red.
Speaking of which, you know how they did a 5-issue run last season? I just found out he has a blog. This is how I found out all the information about him. He just goes back and has a blog of all the stuff that's releasing.
Sure.
That's also a limited run. The new one's a limited run of 5 issues as well. They can't commit to a full.
That's so weird.
Right, so it's over because you got issue 5 the other day.
4 or 5.
They keep doing miniseries.
God damn it!
Wild.
I was really enjoying that run.
Bizarre.
Yeah. But anyway, he's worked on a bunch of other Marvel stuff. So on the kind of when Spider-Gwen changed to be named Ghost Spider, it was Ghost Spider, Spider-Gwen for a bit. And then it was just Ghost Spider. So that was when he took on the coloring for that. And then All New Hawkeye, which I think was the Jeff Lemire run. Some Nova, some Deadpool, Spider-Man and the X-Men.
Yeah, cool.
A-Force, and the Fantastic Four Infinity comic, which is one of the few Infinity comics I've read. It's actually quite fun. It's like 4 issues you can get on Marvel Unlimited. And he's done a couple of other fun Infinity comics, the less serious ones you see on there.
Yeah, cool.
I do love the Infinity comics.
Yeah.
They're great.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a mixed relationship with them where sometimes I'm like, this is cool. And then sometimes I'm just like, I just want to read a normal comic. And there's so many normal comics on this app. So I don't know.
Haven't read any. I need to check it out. I have no idea what would be different.
I think what also
comic and a real one.
What also throws me off it, and it's like not a good thing that this throws me off it. It's like the weird border they have around it. I hate.
Yeah.
I don't like that I'm not seeing like a full cover, and for some reason,
Infinity Comics, you basically scroll the whole time.
Right.
Like, that's what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking specifically the cover.
Oh,
right. Look at the cover; it's got like an Infinity comic
it's a bit of a gross
around it,
and
it's like I don't want to.
It looks
on
unofficial.
That. Like I don't want to click on it, but then when I click on it, it's always good.
Yeah,
but yeah.
You just it's don't judge a book by its cover, but in this case you have.
Well, when you have like 7,000 comics on an app, it's
I'll judge some different ones.
That's kind of what you do with comic books, to be fair. You judge them by covers. If you've got a good cover, you read it and you'll be like, oh, it's bad.
It's almost the only reason why Will buys
just like covers.
Just the cool covers.
Yeah.
Totally.
Every time I fucking buy a cover or a comic that I actually want to read, that just turns into a big fucking event. And I'm like, I just want to read one comic. Why are we doing this every minute?
Yeah.
Fuck you, Deathstroke.
He was also the colorist for the original Miss Marvel run, the entirety of that.
Yeah, well.
Transitioned straight into Magnificent Miss Marvel. So he was the only member of the primary member.
Yeah, wow.
Like in terms of the primary members, so like artist, colorist, writers, the ones you hear more about. He was the only one of that original team to transfer over to this, which makes sense because I look at this and I'm like, color-wise, pretty bang on with the character. It actually, even though they changed the artist and the writer and stuff, it still feels like it has a lot of the DNA of those.
Yeah, for sure. Consistent, for sure, yeah.
I think they kept the same letterer because the letters definitely look the same.
Yeah, sure.
That's an obscure one. Yeah. And then another obscure one, this last little bit of fact on Ian Herring, for you specifically, Will, mainly. I don't
know why he started listening. He said me.
No, I'm just looking at you.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was watching you.
Specifically, he worked on... you remember the Scarlet Witch series?
Yeah, the best Scarlet Witch series.
Where it's like anthology in terms of like the artists and stuff. He did the Japan murder mystery issue
sick.
of it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, he did colors for that.
Man, they did posters for those recently on Mondo, and I missed out. It was very cool of all the covers from that run.
That's such a cool series. If you haven't checked it out, it's basically... It's an ongoing story of Scarlet Witch, but they get different. I think it might be the same writer, different artists, like throughout the whole run. Yeah, and it's just like a smorgasbord of cool, weird, sometimes psychedelic.
And I think a lot of what the movies have borrowed as well. I think they're born from those comics. So
definitely check that one out if you want it. It's like 2014, 15.
I think it was around when all of this happened.
Yeah, totally,
definitely that era. Yeah.
But yeah, that's our little bits on each of those guys.
It's our little bits.
Lots of little bits.
Nice.
Speaking of little bits, it's not that little. It's issue 1.
It's true. It's as long as any other issue.
That's right.
It's not particularly little.
Yeah.
I think it's
Issue
actually
1.
longer. I think issue 1 was 25 pages and the rest are about
fuck.
23.
Oh yeah, that is a
There
little
you
bit
go,
longer.
yeah.
It's a little...
Now, speaking of bringing back old styles of comic
Oh, yeah.
cast,
These segues,
we've
man.
lost the plot.
Oh no, where'd it go?
Where'd it go?
Oh, don't worry, guys. I found it.
Oh fuck!
I found the plot.
He found it. Everybody.
It's not as creative as some other finding the plots.
Yeah.
Will always writes really creative
Yes.
ones. I wrote this
Now.
just before this. Yeah,
Personally, I think my summaries of the Thor issues were the best. plot
it's very
summaries
good.
we've
Yeah,
done.
yeah. Under the sea. I don't know why I remember that. That was so long ago.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
weird that we're referencing that
Crazy.
particular comic cast so much. We don't normally reference the
It's
previous
probably because
one.
we're wearing similar things, so we just remember those moments.
Yeah, it's
That's
like
one of those
yeah.
kind of
osmosis into the
Yeah,
material.
Or is it
yeah,
in the
yeah.
in the cotton?
Yeah,
All right.
that's what it is.
So we jump in with it's kind of weird because it starts with like an old man telling a child
Yeah.
a bedtime story, but they're clearly not human. And that almost never comes back. It kind of comes back once, but
Yeah.
it doesn't. In this run, at least, there's no like proper
Direct
explanation
ties.
about who they are. But as he's starting to tell the story of Miss Marvel, essentially, we see her fighting. I think a guy called Deathbringer. I think he just is named like once.
Totally,
That's
yeah.
pretty much it. But it's
Yeah.
it's sort of
One of those funny throwaways that they're clearly like, yeah, this is supposed to be a throwaway.
This is the thing where I'm like, I could see this happening now.
Yeah.
Where we're at in the
Totally.
MCU, I could see this being in like season 2 of Miss Marvel.
Yeah.
It just starts like
I still
this.
want Chicken Man or Pigeon Man or
Yes,
whoever it is in that
please.
original run
Yeah,
to come
yeah.
back.
Absolutely.
I know you won't, but
No.
I can hold out hope.
Thomas Edison.
Yeah.
yeah.
Back to Chicken Boy.
But after this fight, Kamala meets up with a friend and then realizes she's late to go home and then goes home because of her culture. It's her parents are like very strict and sort
Yeah.
of controlling over her life and things like that.
Yeah.
But Kamala's mum, Kamala finds out that her mum has told her dad that she is Miss Marvel. And they forbid her to do any more heroing.
Yep.
Thus ensues a classic argument between
Yeah.
a parent and
Yeah.
parents and teenager.
Totally.
Just
Yeah.
pretty standard. Like basically, you're grounded
Yeah.
from being a superhero.
Yeah.
Then monsters attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes out. Every defeated monster turns into a weird sludge, like immediately, and no one really knows why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She finds out that there appears to be a monster at home, so she goes there. There's no one there. Her parents are a little bit zombie-like.
They don't have eyes. Surely she
Yeah.
would have realized.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's dark,
Yeah.
but I was like,
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I do look at the panel and I'm like,
You probably
oh,
know something's
like, come
off.
on.
Yeah.
I was kind of thinking maybe the lack of eyes was like a stylistic choice
For the
because it was
dark
dark.
and- yeah,
like it was
yeah,
just
yeah.
dark. There was kind of a bit
Yeah.
of like a shadow over there where their eyes should be. And then she hugs them because she is afraid that they could be killed by said monster that she believes is
Somewhere.
at her home.
Yeah.
Hugs them. They turn to sludge. That's it.
Would really fuck
end
you
of
up.
Ep 1.
Yeah, it's pretty intense.
That would like
It's weird, man.
Yeah.
yeah.
that would like that would mess with your brain
Totally.
a little bit.
It really does for her.
She's not doing well.
The next issue.
Yeah.
Totally.
She's wrecked in the
Yeah.
next issue.
100%.
Correct.
Yeah, to fill in the gaps, I think at some point in the previous, I haven't read the entire previous Miss Marvel run. I think at some point she told her mum in that.
Because I swear
Yeah.
she told her dad when we read the other ones, but
I
it
thought
might
so
be the
too.
game that's
The game,
twisting
the game,
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The game is where it tells the dad.
Yeah. So maybe in the comics it was mum for sure.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
she's also told at this point Nakia, her friend, and she's also friends with, in that original run, if you remember, there was the bully Zoe.
Yeah.
By this point, she is friends with
She's friends.
Zoe.
Sure. Yeah, cool.
And that's kind of, I did just want to bring up, I kind of like immediately in this issue 1, even if you haven't like read all of them, it situates Kamala like well as like a more grown up, like maybe a year, maybe not even a year, but like a more mature version of that character dealing with more mature emotional issues as a teenager.
Like even the way she palms off, and not that they are lower than what she's dealing with, but like the body issues when she's telling her origin, she's like, yeah, it was a bit rough, it was bad.
Yeah, totally.
But I'm not over it, but I'm
Yeah.
onto bigger problems.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think like even specifically in the art, it's not that different, but it's just different enough that you're like, this is a slightly older teenager.
Yeah, because that original one was very much, it was almost like a children's book.
Yeah, totally. Totally. Yeah. And I think this does a good job of like kind of keeping that lighthearted Ms. Marvel feel, but transitioning it into a like slightly moodier teenager kind of vibe, which we very much get across these issues, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Then there's the one thing I do want to mention as well, just to start off here. We got the narration, as Josh mentioned, going across it. It's like a good juxtaposition of the prophecy going on about this like magical, amazing hero.
Yeah.
While like, she is like struggling with so many different things. I like that juxtaposition quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's
sometimes used for like comedy as well.
Yeah, totally.
It's like,
yeah. She had a great relationship with her parents. Mid-argument.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And there's a really small detail which I like, which is on page 7, where she's in circle Q, or maybe not. I think it might talk about some juice bar. Anyway, she's talking to Nakia, her friend, and Nakia's talking to her, and she like the word superhero is like a lot smaller than the rest of it, and it's like a little whisper. Thing, just like smaller text, very small detail, but I liked it a lot.
It's very cute.
It's very nice and cute. But yeah, that's kind of like my thoughts on that so far. Do you have anything you want to chip in, Will?
No, it's just a good start. And like I mentioned, it's cool how it just slips in the origin. If you are jumping in at issue 1, it's like you visually see it, which is similar to a lot of the Spider-Man comics, where it's just a quick like, oh, a bit, Uncle Dead, moving on. It was cool to see that in amongst this. So if you're somehow at this point in the podcast, this is an easy one to jump in.
Yeah, it's like a minor reboot, but not really. Yeah, it's like a evolution of the character for sure.
For sure.
Yep. Issue 2.
Issue 2.
Found it, guys. I found it. I found the plot. I found it. It's all good. We're good. Kamala, obviously real sad, regretful, and pretty messed up from her parents turning to sludge.
Yeah.
And potentially being dead, because she's like, well, they must be monsters. They're not. That wasn't actually them.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Where are
Super
they?
confused. Don't know where they are. She's also with her friend / love interest Bruno at this stage.
That's why you said it.
Yeah. That's where it came to. Sort of like a bit of a complicated relationship there, again, because of culture things.
It also talks about Wakanda and has like a bionic arm at this point or something. It's like some stuff has changed from that original run. It's all
He has one?
Bruno.
Really?
Did he?
I don't know if it's necessarily like a bionic arm, but I remember he has like some disability that Wakanda helped him with.
Yeah, right.
And he also has like cool Wakanda tech.
He's worked out tech,
he's talking about how he's gone there on like a retreat.
That's right. Yeah. He mentioned that he's studied there, and that's why he's got the devices to find these monsters. And
but yeah, they got weird teenager vibes going on.
Yeah.
Friends, but
for sure. Friends, but maybe more.
Yeah.
And they keep alluding to something that happened previous to this that we don't find out about
also,
until a little later, and there's probably more to it that we still don't know about.
I'll let you finish the plot in a second, but also to note, Bruno, the previous issue narrated by some weird prophecy giver or some person telling a bedtime story. This one narrated by Bruno.
Yes. Yeah. Every issue is
a different
narrated
voice
by someone else, which is really cool.
Until the last two,
that.
but yes.
Yeah. And basically, the end of this is they track down the final monster.
Final boss.
The final boss, and thus also track down the parents. Find the parents. 3 weird old alien men turn up, claiming that she is their world's, Miss Marvel is their world's destined one. That's pretty much where this ends. There's not much in this issue. There's a couple of little other things that are irrelevant to this.
She fights a friend who I don't remember from the original comics that much, but his name's Josh, and he's now a villain. And then initially, because she thinks her parents have been taken, and she's like, "You took him."
Did it, mate.
And she does this cool Hulk out moment.
She looks huge.
But then he's like, "Lol, no, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Calm down, dude. I'm here to be illegal in other ways."
And then suddenly she's like, "Oh, can I help you?" Because she suddenly realizes that he's sort of
being used by someone.
Being used by someone else, kind of at the bottom of the barrel.
Comes back later in this run, not in this arc, but later in this run. So
cool. There's not much in advance of issue 1 here to really talk
I
about.
wrote in my notes boss battle. Lol. I'd like to play it like, oh, it's the boss battle.
Yeah, the final boss.
As usual with Kamala.
Yeah.
Good nerdy references. I got a couple more in the next bit.
Yeah,
but
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Issue 3. So they mentioned that she was the destined one. We find out a little more about what that means. Basically means that she's going to save their world from the similar giant monsters that she's already fought on this planet. But it turns out that those monsters were created by these guys to actually test whether she is their destined one, which they determine that she
Immediately
is.
red flags.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
And to be fair, Kamala's also like,
That's a bit shit.
nah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also like show a bunch of pictures and stuff of their destined one, and it's basically just a silhouette in her costume.
Yeah, there's a cool like
Exactly
little
what it looks
flashback
It's cool.
storybook kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, yep. She sort of has a bit of like a back and forth with these guys, and her parents getting involved as well about whether she will go forward and do this. Her parents, again, trying to forbid her to do this, but she's like, I make my own decisions. We're going to do it. So she insists that she will go to the planet, and her parents insist on going with her.
It's so good. I love
So
it.
then they're all going,
Yeah.
which is just great because you just have this constant like parental commentary in the background trying to say
And this-
like, you can't do this, and her just being like,
Yeah.
I'm doing it. You gotta
No
trust me on
choice.
this.
And this one's narrated by her army, her mum.
Yes.
So
Yes,
it's like,
yeah.
it's totally kind of juxtaposing that, and the parents being like, nah, we're going to protect you if you're going to go. And she's like,
Yeah.
I like this whole thing of like the classic overprotective parents versus Kamala being the one that actually needs to protect them because she's got the powers.
Yeah,
and there's
totally.
this cool like
Yeah.
dichotomy working there.
Yeah. And on their first night on the planet, she kind of wakes up because she can't sleep. Obviously, there must be so much going on in her mind right now.
Good moment with the bed that you missed out. She
Yeah.
smells like cupcakes or something.
Yeah.
Everything
like-
just apparently smells great in
Yeah.
this planet, like
Yeah.
constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're in a sewer, and apparently that smells great.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
It's the
bizarre.
perfect place.
Yeah. But when she sort of sneaks out, she goes real small so no one sees or hears her. And she finds out that the leadership of this planet are corrupt. They have a hostage chained up, and they're zapping
Sexy
him.
hostage.
He's a shirtless hunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she saves him, goes and gets her parents, and like, we got to go.
Yep.
They start to escape. The people find out that she's doing this and then shoot down the plane that they try to escape in,
like-
the spaceship thingy.
Halo episode 1.
Yeah, pretty much. The best episode of a show.
Yeah. We've seen them all.
That's it. That's pretty much where that ends.
Yeah, I don't have much more in my notes, but I just said the classic sexy rebel who's actually the good guy and very sexy trope.
Yep.
Yeah, because that's basically what it is.
And there's so much throughout this whole thing, so much of her mum in particular, just being like, stop getting so close
Yeah.
to my daughter. Just
Yeah.
so much of that. It's
like-
very, very fun.
One of the last issues, it's like, did you see this? I'm like, yes, I see this. And I also see a man with his hand on my daughter's shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oops, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very good.
So fun.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, smash it through it. Let's keep going.
That's it. I will say I had one other note for this.
No,
that
not smashing
I didn't
through
put in there. These
Slow
guys
smash.
have great facial hair. The old man,
yeah, yeah.
man just have like
Wisdom beards.
Yeah, one's got like kind of mainly a moustache. One's got like a big long beard, and then one has kind of a combination
Big
of both.
bushy beard.
Big bushy beard. So
Yeah.
just good fun beards.
Absolutely.
That's well-drawn beards. Issue 4, Kamala, shirtless hunk, and parents escape to rebel camp in outskirts of city.
Through the nice smelling sewers.
Yes.
Yes, through the sewers after they get shot down. She saves them. She sort of grows like
Groots
very
it.
kind of groots it or like
Elastigirls.
Elastigirl.
yeah.
I was going to say Mrs. Incredible.
Elastigirl.
Yeah, kind of parachute.
Yeah.
Giant parachute thing. That was a terrible explanation. She bodies herself into. No.
She bodies herself. Oh, yeah, no, that was way better.
I thought your explanation was fine. And
Cool. Then you said that. That's a different thing.
Excellent. I didn't talk much in the last podcast.
So making you do it all this time, basically.
Yeah. Here we go. The city leadership come after them. A fight happens. And then the crazy monsters appear after that.
The aforementioned crazy beast monsters.
Crazy beast monsters.
But the
that
real ones.
She needs, the actual ones that she needs to save this planet from. But in the middle of all of this as well, there is a flashback to Kamala and Bruno back on Earth, almost kissing. Bruno is still on Earth at this stage.
Yeah.
He doesn't go with them.
Yeah.
But like kind
We
of...
don't talk about him.
No.
Yeah, I had to do it once.
You had to. Or kind of almost kissing. They get pretty close, and then Kamala sees her dad, hides behind a tree, and realizes that her dad is with another woman, and the other woman seems to have her arm around him in some sort of way, which I think in that culture is a big no-no.
Definitely. I mean, yes, I think it is partly a cultural thing. It's also just like any
the dad
teenager would probably be a bit sus with it.
For sure, in particular, yeah.
Yeah.
But she doesn't recognize this woman.
Yeah.
So it's a big shock, and we don't find out any more about this.
Yeah,
in this
and
run.
it just to mention, it is alluding. I think in the first issue, when she has a big argument with her parent, she says like she storms out of the house, being like, "I'm not the only one who's keeping secrets." So clearly, this is the reveal. Of,
yeah.
This is the moment we didn't know about.
There's also in that argument as well, right at the start, they said your dad got some bad news, and he's also found out that you're a superhero.
Yeah.
So it's not one and the same. We find out that it's not one and the same later in this run.
yeah.
But
Totally.
that's
Set up well.
this issue.
Will
Not much in this one.
We'll wrap it up at the end.
It's a great run, but
It's good. It's
just very straightforward.
It's the thing I was saying about the Northman. It's like the most stereotypical story possible, but told well and uniquely playing upon like sci-fi tropes and stuff.
Like totally. It's very stereotypical. It's going to another planet. You're the medical savior, save the planet.
Yeah.
It's like Planet Hulk.
Yeah.
It's basically a version of Planet
Yeah.
Hulk, or Star Wars,
Or Horizon Zero Dawn, which we'll get to.
or Star Wars, because specifically she makes a comment in this one. There's a Star Wars reference in issue 3, which I can't remember. I just wrote hee Star Wars reference, but then I actually wrote this one down, which is in issue 4. She says, "If you've got body armor and laser guns and you're hunting down plucky rebels, you're probably the bad guys."
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Good point.
And I think I like that one more because I remember the one in issue 3 was more explicit, whereas this one was like
This is
specifically like, oh yeah, if you think about it,
play on
very
words.
clearly
and-
Star Wars.
Yeah,
but-
for sure. Yeah.
And I think this one and the next one, I believe, are narrated by her.
Yes.
So very like kind of we
Usual
get a
comic.
real insight into her thoughts about her general life and her like getting up to this point of being a superhero. There's a lot of like my entire life people have said that I am this person, like they have made up who I am
Yep.
and been like that is who everyone believes that I am because they've said that I'm these things. I guess that would be like her parents, her rabbi, her people at school, like friends at school and stuff like that. Like whoever she is, everyone just makes up something else.
Rabbi is Jewish, not
Yeah, I was gonna-
Islamic.
Sorry,
Specifically, I
sorry.
don't know, but
My
I
apologies.
know what you mean because there is a similar mentor figure.
Yeah. A sheik?
Sheik? No, that's Hindu. I don't know what it is.
Anyway, I know what you mean. I was just making
Sorry.
sure.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. No.
So there's kind of a lot, like it's quite uplifting the way she sort of
for
narrates this whole one. It's really
And
cool.
it kind of, it plays back into what I was saying earlier about how it kind of, like, her narration in these couple issues shows you how she's progressed as a character, and she's, like, a more mature person and is dealing with, like, rather than the specific body issues that she has in the earlier Miss Marvel comics, now she's dealing more with, like, deeper identity and, like, what she actually wants to be beyond, like, her family and growing up, and as you said, those, like, core circles around her. So it's very cool, and it's kind of like juxtaposed with her cute little relationship she's developing with this alien dude. Cheb Hura is his name. Mostly shirtless. He does put on, like, a kind of a shirt at one point. They have a cheeky hand touch on one of the panels. It's very nice. And I like in classic like sci-fi tropes as well, they like have their weird phrasing, alien stuff, and he's like, "Do you have a first of heart? I'll be your second of heart," or something. It's very funny, and I like it, and it's like schlocky and campy and all the stuff that I like in this kind of story.
Yeah. Just quickly jumping back to issue 3, that one's narrated by her mum, and I really liked that as well. Like it's kind of like talking really about her entire life, like since she was a kid, I've been protecting you, like all that sort of thing. Like you always managed to find trouble, and I always thought you were gonna basically kill yourself, but I always protected you. And like now you're an adult, I think I mostly need to protect you from yourself rather than the world. But there's a point where I can no longer do that kind of thing. Like it's really cool. I found her one really powerful.
I like that. I like also like each of these narrations leads to like a key point for the character at some point in that particular issue. And I like in that issue, I think it's Army standing up to, is it, what's the name for the dad?
Oh fuck. Nah.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Is it Abu?
Abu. I think that's what it's in my name from the game.
Yeah,
but I think that's just his name.
I think that might be it, because I feel like I've heard friend of the show Amber say that when I've been on calls with her and her dad's walked in. I do. Yeah, I do, definitely.
Awesome.
It makes all her beta.
Yeah. And I think it's like that moment of like her mum standing up to the dad, because obviously her mum is the one that knew she was Miss Marvel, and it's like the dad's just found out, and she's clearly had the time, as we established in this issue, she's had the time to process it all, and has to stand up to the dad at the end and be like, no, this is who she is, we need to let her do this. I think it's very good. And then you kind of see over the next couple of issues the parents getting more supportive, but each having their own moments of like pulling back from it and being like, no, we're your parents.
Pretty much. Again,
Cool.
it's such a cool run. Like the narration as well is used so sparsely. Like it's not, every page or every frame or anything like that. It's like you might find 2 on a page, and then you won't see any more for another couple of pages. And then you're like, oh yeah, this is continuing on from what they said before. And it's sort of, I think the space adds weight to it all, which is really nice.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Issue 5, everyone fights the monsters together. So the rebels and the city, the leadership.
What are they called? The Beast Legion or something? It's a great name.
I can't remember. They're almost overwhelmed, but then the people of the planet remember something called the Great Machine, which they have not brought up before until now. So they take Miss Marvel there. Kamala, no one else can get there. They're like, oh, if she gets close, she'll go insane. Like anyone that's ever tried to get close goes insane or dies or whatever. But as they're getting closer, everyone except her are getting affected by it. And she's like, I have no idea what's going on, why you guys can't do it.
You are the destined one.
Yeah, clearly I'm the one that this is made for. So she goes in, she gets a sick new suit from a previous destined one. It's they mention a lot of like Kree stuff as well within there, and she's like,
must be Kree, like shit.
My parents aren't Kree, no one else is Kree, what's going on? So mystery. She then uses the machine to blow up Marvel's classic device controlling all the monsters.
I think in this one specifically, they're like AI monsters, or like they're actually like not real. Or it's weird. It's your classic like something's controlling them all. Just go out.
Nearly every Avengers film,
basically
has that. Oh no,
Edo rules.
Yep. I was going to say it's embarrassing, but I did that as a joke. That to be funny. then she comes back down. They sort of basically say goodbye.
One of the beard guys sacrificed himself.
Yeah,
to get him home.
So the reason why the 3 bearded guys were able to go to Earth was because one of their brothers, which I think we only found out in this, that it was his brother, sacrificed himself by doing this special like spell or something.
Portal magic.
Yeah, which kills the caster. But is able
like
to send them
Yeah, someone should make some like technology to fix that one.
Yeah, it's almost like in the Marvel universe, there is.
Yeah, totally. And then this guy's like, I'm the last person who knows this spell, so no one can ever do this again.
Yeah,
but he's going to sacrifice himself to get her and her parents home.
Yeah.
So they do that. She's like, no, surely there's another way, and he's like, don't worry about it. She actually he actually quotes something that she says earlier, which is when they initially ask her to do something in particular. I think it was when they go to the Great Machine.
Yep.
Everyone's like, no, you can't do it. And she's like, you don't even have to ask. I'm just going to go do it.
He says that back.
And then he says it back when she's like, no, don't do it. Like, you're going to die. He's like, you don't even have to ask.
Yeah.
Which is a nice little comparison there. So they get back to Earth. She's in her room. She says a cool thing. She's like, oh, now I need to find a bag for this suit. And then it just pulls off her and turns into a bag, which is very cool.
Yeah.
Her parents come in. They apparently don't remember any of the planet stuff or her identity.
I feel like she says way too much.
Yeah, totally. So the guy, but she doesn't know it because Chempira, sexy shirtless guy, at the end as the wizard, who I will mention, we'll get to this in a second, was evil like 10 seconds ago before he then was like, I will sacrifice myself for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, die.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I'll give you my thoughts on that in a little bit. But Chempira whispers into her and was like, just do this for them, it'll help. And then so she doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. They say your problems will be less when you get home, basically.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know what that means. But yeah, so her parents don't remember any of it, including her identity.
Yep.
Which is, I find kind of sad because they were like supportive and stuff.
It's such a Marvel thing. Yeah. It's such a superhero
sad
thing.
and brutal, and I will say is is not just pushed to the side after this point. It is fully something that is confronted in future issues. So it's like a major plot point.
Yeah, cool. Awesome.
It's Spider-Man No Way Home.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And everything that she's saying about like the planets and the monsters and stuff, they just put down to her fan fiction stuff.
They say fanfic.
Which is great. But what isn't great is that they finally reveal the bad news that her dad found out about, which is that he has a rare disease that is incurable.
Yeah.
And that's where this run ends.
It's this arc.
Yeah. Very, very
classic
heavy.
Rare incurable disease of no name.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. I don't think it's Peter Parker's semen this time, though.
I would hope not.
Else. Yeah. Occasionally it can be that.
There you go. Occasionally.
Yeah. Sure.
But on fanfiction, the thing that does come back is a little kid brings the tablet that he's drawn Kamala on. And
I love
in
the alien world.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I wonder if you compared the drawings they have of their thing and the drawings that are in the start of this run, whether the ones at the start look more like Kamala because they're based on this kid's version.
True.
Because that's in the future. So it's like the story that's being told to the kid is actually about specifically Kamala. And the other thing was this other hero.
True, because it's also like they talk about the parents and stuff and the people around her, and clearly like I think you're totally right that that's like a future.
It makes it seem like the thing in the future is still this mythical being, but actually they've been talking about Kamala.
But then
in those forward.
So the thing we haven't really talked about is we do find out that Chempira, sexy shirt guy, the person he was being like the king of the land.
No, that's about right.
It's called like Sasa or something.
Yeah.
It starts with an S. Has a double S in there. Anyway, the rebel leader, his father is the bad guy. It's not like it's Star Wars at all.
No. Mark Hamill was never attractive.
This is so basically. Yeah, my thing here is this is Star Wars if it was told in 10 seconds.
Yeah,
because his father is evil, and then very quickly the beast come and he's like, "I'm not evil now," and then very quickly he's like, I'm gonna die for you.
Yeah.
And it's done in like a sympathetic way. And I'm like, this guy was a war criminal like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah. He was sacrificing his own people.
Yeah. So I just found that quite funny that we're just like ignoring the fact that he was torturing his son.
Like,
2 issues ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's I was gonna link that to something else, but I can't remember. What are we talking about?
Fan fiction.
Fan fiction. Tumblr.
Nailed it.
Good.
There it is.
Like certainly the story is very simple, and I think at a glance that's annoying, but it is purely there to service the story of Kamala and her parents and everything going on with that.
That's also like what is so successful, I think, about Miss Marvel comics is they're not like these giant action-packed things. They're often, I think that's the original Miss Marvel like issue had like or hard trade paperback, I can't remember which one, had like 8 printings or something. Like something insane. Because like so many people fell in love with this character, and I think it's more because it's so character based. It's like less about the story, and even when they do go to a crazy alien world with big war,
doesn't matter.
It's still so focused on that. And that's why like I think they did such a good job transitioning over the creative team to like a new one, but still keeping the core of the character. Definitely.
I feel like a lot of it as well is like, because she is a teenager, this is probably aimed at teens, young teens, and like young Muslim teens and kids as well. So it needs to be a simple enough story that can appeal and that is accessible to a younger audience at the same time, whereas like other comics can be so dense, like just too much, and quite inaccessible.
Can you the vision?
Totally.
That's it.
Yeah, a book with some pictures.
That's right. So I think this is quite an accessible story. For most.
Yeah, but like at the same time, enough of a step up from like the original one, which is even more accessible and definitely like. I'm not saying this in a bad way. More kiddie.
It's definitely targeted even younger than this is. Yeah,
and this has depth for older audiences,
purely
audiences that are with it, like that are well versed in comics and stuff like that. So
the narration is like
adds a lot
so
to
good. No, totally. I think it's fantastic. Again, I'm sad this run kind of got pushed to the side. You very much notice it. It's like the quality declines, but that's okay. I'm sure we'll get plenty more Miss Marvel comics. I'm sure they'll continue to be good.
Absolutely. Hopefully nothing changes in the comics.
Yeah.
They don't do any of their weird backward stuff that sometimes happens with the MCU.
But yeah, no, I love Kamala Khan. I'm so glad she exists and is a successful character at this point for Marvel to the point where like we're getting a TV show and everything.
For sure.
Because it's the kind of thing where you think about it and like even in this day when a lot more of us are passionate about social justice and representation and increasing diversity, that was a
ghost.
That was a weird noise.
Is that a recorder?
Yeah. That was some sort of fucking the witch noise.
But at the same time, it also sounded like it could have been like a tropical bird in the forest somewhere, like just a weird mating call.
But basically, like they're Marvel taking that risk and having the more diverse characters in the middle 2010s could have still backfired. Like it's quite remarkable. It makes me happy, but it's quite remarkable that they had the success they did with like Miles and Kamala and all that stuff. So like. I'm glad we're now at the point where she is just like an accepted like Marvel stalwart. I hope that becomes the case in the MCU as well.
Yeah.
I hope that people take to her. I'm worried.
She was great in the game.
I was going to say the thing that a lot of people talked the most about was how everyone else in that game is boring as shit, but they loved Kamala.
Yeah.
So even in the game form, for sure.
Well, I think the game brought a lot more people to the character. That's my thing. Is I hope the TV show does. I have two worries for it. One is the power set stuff, which we won't talk too much about because it's maybe light spoilers, but like they seem to be changing some stuff there, which a lot of people aren't certain about. My hope is that it still stays true enough to the character.
Yeah.
But then the other thing is just the fact that it's going to be more focused at kids. It pretty clearly looks like a
Disney
Channel style show, but like with a slightly higher production value. Which like, I just hope too many people aren't harsh on it and are like, oh, what the hell's happened to Marvel? Where's my cool Captain America gritty movies? It's like, no, it's supposed to be fun.
This is the point of Disney Plus. They can experiment
literally.
here.
Yeah,
This
it's
is the whole
You
thing.
don't have to watch.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll see. We're very close to it.
We're
keen
amongst it.
amongst it.
Yeah.
Depends how quick Ben gets this one edited.
That's true. It could be over.
Or it could be before.
It could be before.
I would like to try and get it out roughly around when it's kicking off.
Don't get it out, Ben.
We're in a little pocket dimension at the moment, so it's uncertain
Who knows?
where or when anything is.
Is today the 37th of June or the 12th of July-tober?
I was like, you there's 12s in every month. How's he going to found it? He found a way.
I did it.
I always jump to the Simpsons smarch from one of their they're like there's a meeting at the school over some calendars that were printed and sent home with kids, and it's like they go into the school. There's one of the calendars on the wall. It's like clearly basically a blizzard outside.
Yep.
Homer walks in like freezing. And he's like, lousy smarch weather.
Good.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Misprinted
Good.
calendars.
Love the Simpsons. We'll be giving us quotes till the end of time.
Yes.
Now, we got another comic cast. We're going to keep them coming, smashing through them. Marvel stuff's jumping out at us left, right, and center.
Absolutely.
For a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Until August. And then
it's kind of nothing.
we've got to work out what the hell we're doing.
Yeah.
What's Invincible? What's the next
who knows?
Invincible?
I was saying this to Will earlier. I want to know more news about it.
Yeah.
We got the boys now. I want to know when Invincible's going.
Black Adam and Shazam are this year, so we've at least got those to deal with.
No.
Shazam!
Yeah. Maybe that'll finally get me to get my DC Infinity subscription
totally.
going.
Yeah. That might be it.
And we have Gotham Knights.
We do. Oh yeah, the game. Yeah, not the show. We do have the show, but that's
it's coming.
Which means we get to read Court of Owls. So even if the game's bad, we'll get to read Court of Owls, which is very cool.
But what are we going to read before that?
I will just say I stopped reading Court of Owls because I was reading the graphic novel and I stopped it because I'm like, the game's going to be coming out soon. We'll be reading it.
Yeah, nice.
Like a year and a half ago. I stopped reading it. Like, far out.
You won't remember what happened.
I don't.
You don't.
I remember the beginning was brutal.
Cool.
Yeah.
My goodness.
It's a very good series.
Yeah.
So ignore everything I said like 2 minutes ago, and I was like, we don't know what we'll do.
We're
Turns out we got some stuff.
We're fine. The Harley Quinn show might be out this time.
In August, the She-Hulk show's coming out. We'll probably do something then. We don't know exactly what.
Yep.
Stay tuned for that. But the next comic cast will be in July because now's June, obviously.
Yes.
And in July, Thor: Love and Thunder is coming out.
Yes.
Finally. And we've discussed a Thor before. Thor before.
It's up there, which means we've read it.
Yep. But we might need to take that sticky back or make a new sticky.
Yeah.
Because we're revisiting... actually, before that Thor run. We're going back to the start of Jason Aaron's Thor. Thor: God of Thunder, I believe is what it's called. From 2012.
Yep.
And similar to this one, where we did the first 5 issues. The first 5 issues of the first storyline in that one as well.
Cool.
And that's
God Killer.
The God Killer.
God Killer. It's
great.
All
It's
about
good
about Gore the God Butcher.
Which I'm sad for Jade because they mentioned that they don't like gore in comics. And this will just be 5 issues of gore.
It will be,
gore,
So
unfortunately, and in both ways.
No,
in both ways.
It's very much both ways.
Yeah.
I would say, Jade, still read it. It's still very good.
Yes, absolutely.
Not. I wouldn't say gratuitous. And very interested to read that comic again. For me,
I think
one I read
all
before.
of us. I think.
Have you read Gore?
Did you?
Yeah.
We've all.
So it'll be
I
good.
have the original one, so they were ones I actually did read.
Yeah,
Totally.
I think I did a couple of volumes of those. They were nice. They were hard. They were doing like nice hardcovers back then.
Yeah, I love a good hardcover.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to revisit that, kind of look at what that character is.
Yeah.
Hopefully, how much enough of it gets pulled into the new universe. Maybe not some tentacles.
Maybe not some tentacles. Maybe they'll sprout. Maybe
Wouldn't
they'll
that be
sprout.
great?
Yeah.
I'm just a bit sad about the tentacles.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that next month because that's July and right now it's June.
It's currently June.
Definitely June.
And, we've got some Miss Marvel to watch, probably.
Yeah, let's go watch Miss Marvel and the end of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
It'd be great. Mm-hmm. Or maybe like episode 4 of Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah, maybe we met Dr. Aphra.
Wait, maybe we did.
Actually, that's quite possible.
That's pretty possible in this one. Darth Vader's in it. It's that era of time.
That's like solidly possible.
That's totally possible.
Man,
She might be
we-
young though, because this is early.
This comic cast could be doubly relevant.
Yeah, we could. Yeah. We said the words Dr. Aphra.
Yeah.
And that happened just now.
We did it again. We thought we didn't for Doctor Strange, but we did.
We did.
But we did.
We did.
Once again, comic cast smashing it out of the park.
Absolutely.
We've done it. We've done it again.
We've done it again.
And of course, we have to do a rating for the comics that we just read.
Oh, yeah, because again, none of you gave comments.
Yeah.
So we
We-
forgot about the
we have to
ratings.
do it.
Usually you remind us,
Yeah.
and we so Josh, you were last time, so you have to go first. This
Great.
time.
Thank you so much.
That's all
I
right.
appreciate that.
That's fine.
I give it.
Yes.
Yep. I give it. I'm going to go 2 giant globules of random goo out of 3.
Yeah. Go on, Ben.
Oh, shit, I'm in the middle.
Same place you were in May.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same place I am every month.
That's true.
It does not change.
That's true. That's
Except
true.
when we're digital, and then I'm on the left.
You are on the left.
Maybe I should keep that, like, if we go back digital, maybe I'd go back in the middle.
You
I go
sandwich
in the middle.
between 2 cameras.
Just sandwich a bit.
It's funny because when you and I record anything, do streams or whatever out
Yeah.
there, it's different to where we sit and actually watch things.
Yeah. We have
Will
to
and
switch.
I sit on the right, Will sits on the left. But
Yeah.
when we actually watch things,
It's the other
watch
way.
movies and stuff, we sit on
Yeah.
opposite sides. I don't know
How
why.
wild.
Weird, yeah.
How wild. Anyway,
Go
I was
on,
just
Ben.
trying to give you more time.
Yeah, we're patting.
my rating is I had 2 ideas. I want to do something about New Suit and something about Star Wars. I'm going to go with Star Wars.
Okay.
I had this 3 schlocky Star Wars references out of 4.
That's pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I also was going to go with Star Wars, so I won't go with Star Wars now. I'm going to go with 0 Thor puns out of none.
Nice.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice. Good rating.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well done.
it's pretty
Well
good.
done.
It's pretty good.
Sorry, 2. Because there's 2 Star Wars. There's probably... ignore it. There's like a lot of Star Wars references. I'm not going to pick out exactly how many there are.
Those go.
There's
Those
2,
go.
3. My rating was 3 out of 4. Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
Comic cast over. Goodbye. I'm Ben. That's Josh. That's Will.
We didn't introduce ourselves in
No.
this.
And
Or
I-
the previous one.
And I also don't need to poo this time. I've pooed enough between
it's
May,
been a month.
May and June. Yeah.
He hasn't kept it all in.
No.
Just a little bit.